Hello guys, welcome again to the Bill Clinton Arts channel again. So today we are going to talk about one important tip that you have to consider when drawing with colored pencils. Yeah, most of the time that we miss out on very important details or very important skill that you need to have, especially using colored pencils. I know this is obvious for every realistic pencil artist, but it is important. Mostly I specifically deal on colored pencil right here because I know there are many artists who avoid using colored pencils, maybe because of this simple tip that will count on your detailing when using colored pencils. So this is just one important tip that one needs to consider. So this is a drawing that I drew very recently. It's an old lady that I took a picture, and I really verified the lighting effects on her face and the details that they have. This is a real picture I took of an old lady that I wanted to draw her portrait. So I'll just be sharing this one tip that is a one in a million tip that you need to have or you need to consider when drawing using colored pencils. So this one crucial tip for transforming realistic drawings is mastering values and shading. So when mastering values and shading, focus accurately on capturing the range of light and dark values in your subject. This includes observing highlights, midtones, shadows, and reflected light. When you achieve the right contrast and smooth transitions between these values, your drawings gain depth and dimension. There are a lot of different ways to practice this. So when drawing details portraits, it requires a combination of observation, technique, and patience. After you have layered out your sketch or your accurate proportion using guidelines where you place your eyes, nose, mouth, and ears, it's time to add details one by one. I'm just giving you a short notice of how I do my portraits, and how I do them. I just start with the eyes because the eyes are the focal point of most portraits. When you capture their shape, light, and reflection, and those subtle details, at least you'll have a starting point and a focal point where it will inspire you to continue doing the masterpiece. Mastering of the skin textures. We use a variety of shading techniques to mimic the smooth skin and wrinkles. The skin textures, it depends. You see, like this one is an old lady, so you have to be really careful when layering out the details. Yeah, so those are the shadings and the gradation and every detail that you use. Specific colors of brown, the shades of brown, the black, and how you maximize using the blending tools. When you capture the subtle features, you include the fine details like pores, freckles, scars, wrinkles, but ensure they are subtle to maintain realism. Observe how light interacts with these features, creating highlights and shadows. For this and the practice, you need patience and layering. When you build up the tones gradually, especially for shading and highlights, rushing leads to overworked or muddy areas. You need to have really patience and know how to layer the pencil shades. Yeah. Upon this, understanding these values, it will help you to see and replicate the light and dark areas. There is a practice that you need, especially using colored pencils. So you see, if you want to master colored pencil, probably you know how to draw using the normal pencil, like the graphite pencil, the HB to B3, B4B. So it's just the same technique, only hereby that you have to master the color wheel. I mean the color theory. Yeah. So a secret to this is you just start with the grayscale, and you have them draw the value scale, which you just use black and white colored pencils, which will range from the darkest to black, lightest gray. This will help you understand the concept of value before adding colors. Those are just for the beginners, but if you are more advanced in using colored pencils, then this is an obvious thing. Sometimes you don't need to do that. Like what I have done in this portrait, I just started the way it is and I build up the process as I go by. You can blend whichever method you like. Then you have to be really good in observing. It's a practice. You use reference spot photos with strong contrast and identify the lightest and the darkest areas. Yeah, it depends actually on which color you're layering, if it's the skin tone or if it's the color of a cloth or anything else. Yeah, it depends on your choice of colors. When you, at some point or every time you need to draw, you don't, I'm sure you don't even intend to destroy your artwork by adding in very rough shading. So you need to practice the smooth shading technique. This one will eliminate very harsh lines and create very smooth transition, and this is done by pressure control. So you need to use very light pressure which creates light tones, while when you use the firm pressure at the first point, it may intensify the color, which will make it not really the way you intended it to be, or maybe it be more different than the reference photo. So for example, me, I hold my pencil on the far end so that I control the pressure to the maximum when layering. Yeah, so when you layer one by one, that is the smooth shading that I'm talking about. And for this, you use also the blending tools. The blending tools, step by step, you can use blending techniques with the burnishing. So this is pressing firmly with a light colored pencil or a colorless blender. This is to achieve the smooth layers. Upon studying the light and shadow, this is the values. Now what we are talking about, studying the light and shadow, you replicate how light interacts with objects. This is about the color variation. So you have to identify a skill on how shadows, how a certain color might mix with another color. Let's say yellow object might have a mix of purple or green tones depending on the lighting. Yeah, so and upon these, also use complementary colors. The goal of using complementary colors here is to add realism to shadows and lights. Sometimes you need to avoid using just black. You can use, instead of using just black, you use complementary colors, such as you add green or blue in the red shadows. That one can create a darker shade of black. On this tip, on the same tip, you practice gradation with color, adding gradients, adding from light to dark or dark to light. This is when you make the smooth transitions between two colors. So you have them practice blending two colors like blue and yellow, or create a gradient. This helps you understand how to blend smoothly in realistic works. Then after that, after everything you have done, you analyze and replicate the reference photo. This is translating observed values and colors into your drawings. So by focusing on layering, blending, and observing light and shadow, you will gradually develop a strong grasp of values and shading with colored pencils. Regular practice on small exercises like rendering objects and studying gradients will boost your skill dramatically. So the final tip, the final word that I have for you today is pay attention to the eyelashes when drawing your human portrait. The eyelashes, the iris texture, and the shadow under the upper lid of the depth when drawing human portraits using colored pencils. So you practice shading techniques like hatching, cross-hatching, and blending to create smooth gradations. You regularly squint at your reference and drawing to focus on values rather than details. Focus on values rather than details. Observe keenly the values, the light and the darker parts. You identify where the light is coming from, the subtle details on the pores, the scars, and so on. That will really define your realistic artwork. Yeah, so by prioritizing values, you can make even simple sketches that look lifelike and three-dimensional. So this is all I have for you today. See you next time, and remember to subscribe and comment. So thank you for watching. See you next time.